To another episode of Both Sides of the Ball. We're really excited today to get back to it for the new 2020 season of Both Sides of the Ball. And we got something I think is a little experimental, very different, and going to be a lot of fun for the two of us. So today we're going to take a drive that happened between Ohio State and Clemson in the college football playoff, obviously, from you can tell from the picture. And we're going to analyze that drive, and we're going to break it down, molecularly, honestly. We're going to get to the point of we're going to do both game planning for, an offense or game planning for defense, but also what went well, what didn't went well, get you in the psyche. I think one of the most important things to get to know how a coach coaches is how a coach thinks.
Yes.
When he watches film, what is he looking at? Those things, and you'll see it'll be down to the grass blade probably how detailed this conversation will be. So I'm really excited to get started. I am Coach Kaysen, and across from me is my main man, Coach Stocklin. Take it away. And we're not going to cut no time. We're going to go ahead and
get right into it.
Get right into it. All right, so give you a little background of the drive. It's the first scoring drive for Clemson. It's the one that has the controversial
hit and all that
targeting
stuff.
And all that stuff. So we're going to
we'll talk about that one.
Yeah, we'll get. I don't really care too much about that one. All right, so let me move us out the way.
Look how beautiful that is. That is a beauty.
Looks good.
Oh boy, a little technical difficulty, but he'll fix it. I got faith in him.
I wonder why. Okay, let's roll.
All right. So anyway, I guess I'll start off from the offensive side. The first thing we notice is they came out in 11 personnel, and the formation that I will call this is tray open, as most people call it, 3-by-1 with the tight end attached. One thing I did notice is the splits between tight end and also. I'm sorry. Man, look at me. I'm already starting off wrong. That's not even. Oh gosh, that's 2-by-2.
But that looks like
yeah. That's definitely. I started off wrong. I wrote it wrong. That's on me. First one's on me. But it's 2-by-2 with tight end attached, and also the running back is also he's in what I call offset shotgun position. If I'm correct me if I'm wrong. I would say about 2 yards.
2 yards deep, 2 yards outside. Probably splitting the crotch of the tackle.
As most people say, 2-by-2 or whatever for the running back position.
Yeah.
And if you kind of just real quick, the first thing that I actually absolutely look at, me being an O-line guy and being all that good stuff, is how many guys in the box. Now, I understand that they brought the tight end and he's attached. He's on the line, so they're obviously going to bring extra men down. But count it with me. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. That's 4. That's 5. 6. Oh, man. Look at that one. And then you got the 7 guys. So they have a 7-man box. All right, there's 7 people stacked inside the box. But offensively, we got 6 guys on the line. That's the first thing I always look at is how many people they're going to put in the box with a tight end attached. So are we gonna go back and forth for this? Let you
do that. So here's how it's going. So just a little basis of what Ohio State's defense is based out of. They're going to base out of a lot of middle field closed principles. You can't see it. We do have the all-22 view, which we'll show in just a second, show you the 11th man, show you his depth. A lot of middle field to close, cover 3, cover 1. As we go along, they'll start with a 2-high, 5-spoke, and then rotate different ways to get back into their middle field to close. They're going to be middle field to close. The other thing is, and you'll see it a lot, obviously this guy right here is a war daddy. He's probably going to be one of the top picks in the draft, and he'll be a recurring. I don't think he makes one single tackle on the drive, and he's still going to be a recurring theme as we go along. The other thing to note is they're going to put the 3 tech to the tight end. If you have a tight end or what they think could be a 3-man service, they're going to put the 3 tech that way. They're going to be in an over, so that's 3 tech to the strength, obviously. And they play so much cover 1 that they can take their star, what I call star, what you would call a nickel or whatever you want to call it. That is a star. But
it's okay. We're rolling.
He can be opposite of it because you have what you call a bruiser or a strong safety or whatever you want to call it. And he's
down on that tight end.
Yeah, he'll be on the tight end side. All right. So that's the first couple of things I want to talk about. So for us, during 11 personnel to start, tight end into the boundary. It's technically a formation into the boundary. I want to look at splits when we start game planning and things of that nature. But the first thing I want to talk about, and I don't even think I've ever even told Coach this, is I teach my guys, especially my front 6 or guys that vision the quarterback or are tight to the line, to watch. We want to learn the quarterback indicator. What a quarterback indicator is it tells us when
he's getting ready to snap it.
When he's getting ready to snap it. So to do that, we're going to go to the all-22. So the first thing we get is he brings the guy over. We call that an R jog. So now it makes it that boundary cut, that boundary formation. He's still just as wide. So when they're just as wide, we're expecting him to come out flare. We have to account for him, okay? So we have to account for that guy. You see, that's the indicator I'm talking about. Watch him drop his hands to the center. Center looks up. That's the indicator, all right? And that'll be important in a second because he's going to do something different. And I'm going to teach my guys not to deal with that. So we have an indicator. That's when we want to move. That's when we're going to show our blitzes. That's when we're going to show any kind of movements we have or anything pre-snap. We're going to move off that indicator. All right, that's the first thing. It's one of the first things I want to teach you guys on a Monday when we're starting a game plan. All right, so they are jog. You know they're doing it for a reason. All right.
In my opinion, one of the best things you can do.
Yeah, you want to keep moving that backfield. Backfield set's incredibly important, and we'll talk about it a bunch defensively. So he brings that jog, and all that happens is this guy bumps over about a step.
Both bump over.
And then he comes down. So they're just going to rotate over. And that's so if he comes flat or he wheels,
he can take him.
Leverage on him. That's all that's for. Okay. So that's the first things that we're going to talk about, having it go. All right. And we have this middle field, the player. I want to see how he's going to play concepts. He's probably going to vision the quarterback's intentions, but I want to see, is he sliding? And we'll see it really quick. We'll play it all the way through. We'll play this play through one time for everybody to see. See how he's sliding? All right. The free safety will vision him real quick. Vision in the free safety. He takes 2 of his readout steps, and he's visioning where the quarterback's looking. So that's the next thing. Where's the quarterback looking as soon as the snap comes? And I always write this in my notes. He's looking this way. So we're going to melt there. And if he was to look back at the 2 other verticals that he gets, we'll break on that because he doesn't have much more time. All right. This is actually one of the few plays that you'll see Chase Young make a great play. I don't want to say one of the few plays that he directly impacts.
On this drive, yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, a lot of the other ones he's going to indirectly impact them. But on this one, he's going to directly impact them. They are very aggressive. If you see their backers here, both of them are going to take 2 steps up. And what it tends to happen is when you're in so much cover 1, which is what they're in right now, they're actually in a 9, what I would call a weak side 9 rat coverage. When you're in so much of that, these guys have got to become force players at times
Mm-hmm.
because he's going to run him off with a little fade ball.
And if he's not playing force, there's nobody out there, even though the player's not doing that.
You'll see Chase Young play force a couple times in this drive. So the tight end blocks at the bottom, so he adds. You see how aggressive the backers are to the run. It basically becomes one-on-one matchups. Chase Young causes him to throw it a little bit early. It's not a great ball. Looks like they're trying to get the fade. One thing you'll notice about Clemson, one thing you'll notice about Clemson, if you watch them a lot, is that they love the fade, the back shoulder fade ball. And you can see where the quarterback's positioning is. His head is on the low shoulder. They have to throw it over top. The fade's not there. All right, so you have to, when you go into a week, when you play a team like that, you have to coach, what are we going to give up? Because you can't defend both.
You can't defend everything. You got to pick one.
You can't defend both the go and the fade. But what can happen is when he doesn't look another way, you play under on the fade ball, and if they were to throw it, I've got this guy breaking.
He's breaking on top of it.
It's going to be a close play. It's going to be a hard one. And we want to force low percentage passes. Every pass that tends to come outside of here and here, everything out here is a lot harder to complete, even when you have a great quarterback, than in this big-ass box.
That's in the middle of the field.
The in-breaking route. In-breaking routes are going to be easier. We want to defend those first. And I think that their cover 1 and their cover 3 does a great job of doing that, keeping things out of the middle of the field. I think that's why they do that. I think that's why they base out of it, that and run fits. All right, Coach, so you got anything for the offense to talk about?
Not on that one. The next one is where we really get to spit. We really get going.
See it really nice.
So the first point, and I'm going to say this with all of them.
This is the TV
one. The first thing I want to notice is that on almost every play of this drive except one, because of a reason. You go to the next one. Clemson was on tempo. They were lining up quickly. And the thing, and I'm going to mention this as probably every time they do it because I love it. Every time they went tempo, especially in the college rule, we know that if one team doesn't sub, the other one can't sub. So if Clemson's not subbing, then that does not give Ohio State a chance to sub. So now, on this drive, you have these players who's been in there for plays, about the plays that's probably used to rotating, but they're not getting a chance to rotate as much on this one. So first thing I want to talk about is obviously the formation. It's just them going tempo. They didn't take nobody out. They went 11 personnel, and on this set, you see they went to a tight bunch. They went to a tight bunch set at the top. Still 11 personnel, but the thing that I think I said it last clip, I'm going to say it again, is the back placement. He is still offset shotgun, but now he's at, you can still say 2-2, but look at the depth of him. Look up his depth, and most guys really don't line up that far, especially how, in where we play, you don't really see that look that often,
Taking my coaching points, Coach.
Offset. Huh?
You're taking my coaching points.
I'm sorry.
You're coaching defense for me.
Oh, trust me, when we get to a little later, you'll probably be proud of me.
Yeah.
But you don't see that so much. So that was one of the biggest things to me that I really like that they did on this play. Also, I think I said, I'm not sure, I forget, the tight bunch. Most people run bunch. They usually spread them out 7 yards normally. Maybe a little different in college because of the hashes, but the number one guy, that's number one to me. He is 2 yards, maybe 3 yards from the tackle. So which makes this a tight, a tight bunch set.
It's dead, and the point man's dead in the middle of the field.
Right. So you got to. You go, with your defense stuff now.
All right. So for two, the biggest themes of this drive come through in this play. The first one is, and Coach noted on it, actually the three biggest themes, I think. He hit all of them, which is funny that as an offensive guy, he hit them all. So obviously they do not move a single guy out. They don't sub, and they're still in their 11. Does this look like 11 left into the boundary, formation of the boundary, tight end on the line? So that when you face those type of offenses that can stay in one personnel, because what happens in high school a lot is that we only have 11 guys. You play your best 11. You play your best 11. So he's got to figure out how do you mold them and line up and play different concepts. But from a defense perspective, when you can do that, when you can have 11 guys and align them in so many different formations, it puts a lot of stress because this is not the same formation. You have to do this.
That's the last one. No, not at all.
You see it later. This guy right here will line up in the backfield. You have to treat that as it's 20 personnel. It's 11 personnel, but you're going to get different styles of runs based off of where the back placement is and what kind of formation you're getting, okay?
So quick question before you go to – so, you're sitting there watching, as me and you both did. In your mind, what is run style? What do you think is coming off of this play? What do you think Clemson's going to run based off the back alignment where he's placed and also that tight bunch set? Run-wise. It's a lot of stuff we've got to pass combination.
Two things.
What's the first thing?
Run-wise?
Yeah,
it's going to be something that hits quick, that pitches out flat, and get blockers out there to attack the wide side of the field. They can still come up with inside zone. They don't really have the numbers.
To it.
Do that.
Not at all.
That's why.
Just real quick, you talking about the numbers, and my biggest thing is.
Yeah, if you go down the center line, they've only got 1, 2. They can add a third, and they can add a fourth, and they got
that guy right there.
2, 3, 4. They could bring him off the edge if they needed to, or something like that to get numbers. He would still scrape over, and he would end up here.
But you don't really have the numbers to really run.
No, it's not. Yeah, they've got it defended.
Really, not anything.
They've got the numbers. They've got the numbers, so they're going to go to the field, and that's how you line up defensively. Now they had you're. I don't want to say you're dictating because you're not dictating yet because Clemson probably is running this to run this play. So they're still dictating what they want to do. But you're checking, you're crossing off. Like when you take a test and it's multiple choice and you got 4 answers. If I can cross out 2 of them, now I only have 2 answers. Now I can play fast and make the right decision quicker. Okay? The second recurring theme is that this guy's a war daddy. Clemson does not want to block him. Doesn't seem like it. Especially in this drive. They do not want to block him at all. All right? So here's how the fits are going to look. It's a cover 3. He'll be the deep thirds. He's going to bail on the snap. We're going to show him bail on the snap. He's my 4 to first. All right? He is my my force player and my flat player. He's going to be my strong hook. He's going to be my weak hook. Okay? So that's the coverage of everybody, and that incites the fits. So what's going to happen on the snap is he's going to get blocked, so he's going to come outside. So he's going to come outside to force everything back. That's going to fit him inside these 2. That's going to fit him inside these 2. That's going to fit him there, and he can spill. All right, he's going to be a spill player. Typically, when you have the 3 to you, you're going to sit anyway. You're going to sit, and we spoke about that in our podcast that we had. And we want to keep being as descriptive as possible because we do plan to put the audio of this on the podcast. So we have the alley fits. All right, that's our fits. That's our run fits. If he gets pulled, he's going to find the first thing open and go. He gets pulled, he's going to try to cross face into the A because this gap's gone. It becomes this gap. This gap is eliminated, okay? So we're going to run the play one time real quick to see what the TV shot pretty much encompasses everything. So we stop it. The guard pulls. We're getting that out pitchwards action. He is what I call a low player. So I don't like to designate, are you a quarterback player or are you a running back player? You're the low player. So if they were to run this action opposite, so they were running the running back coming across, he could still have the running back and squeezing. And you have such an athlete, you can do that as much as you want to.
So this may be a left field question, but do you do that for the reason of a shovel pitch? If they went with the sniffer in the backfield and tried to run the shovel option with the pitch option both at the same time, it's either a low player to defend something like that.
Yep.
Is that the reason you tell them low player?
Say they were just in stacks and this guy was over here.
Or it's over here, right?
And he came in low, and they still pulled him.
He's going to take away the pick and say, okay.
He would be here for quarterback, him as well, and then these 2 would be for the back. That makes sense.
No, yeah, put him 6. Yeah.
Okay. So he's the low player. That's why we do that. That's another reason. This is exactly why. Because it's everything. You base your rules off triple and double option when it comes to your fits, so that you can defend everything. It makes it so much simpler to teach. Okay. So we're gonna run through the play. Like I said, I was going to before, and we didn't. He's gonna get in the crease, make a good tackle. I don't really find much wrong with what the defense did here. 24 is going to run over the top really quickly to force it. I want him to stay as square as possible. The only thing that I don't love is that he didn't squeeze it back. He didn't squeeze the air out of the gap.
So if you kind of go back, the way he dips his shoulder, and this is just me talking from an offense perspective, I believe that's in my 14 has a perfect block on 24 because he goes to dip his shoulder, but also
if he dips his shoulder and shows his number 24, I'm sorry, 24. To the if he can show it all square and his chest is flat, he'd be fine. If his chest is square and he's not this way, but he's this way.
Mm-hmm.
Where he had his whole thing exposed and he could push, and you can see my arm push, squeeze the hole. That's where the 4 yards, 5 yards come from, 6 yards. And you got to be precise when you're playing an athlete like that.
Yeah, and then also the athlete, he hits it pretty good. So I kind of want to mention this. I have a few questions that I call it Clayton questions. It's something funny I thought about. And you kind of hit on it earlier, and I kind of just want you to elaborate a little bit more. We all know number 2 is the best D lineman in college football. Is Clemson doing this so they don't have to block him?
Yep. I mean, obviously they could not be, but they used all of the rules to get Chase Young there, and then read off of it. So
you hit on it earlier, and I'm gonna ask you again. So, in your mind, would you rather a person like ETN get the ball? So,
yeah, that was where I was going to go.
Huh?
I was going to say that if they come back out in this later in the game, one thing I would think of to get the ball out of ETN, and Trevor Lawrence is a good athlete too.
Good athlete, right?
Later in the game, he hits like a 70-yard runner. So, it's one of those things. But if I didn't want ETN to get the ball, you're absolutely correct.
Now instead of him playing under, so that's your game time coaching adjustment.
We would make him a high player.
Okay.
And now we can have a low player. We could maybe bring him under to be the low. We could bring him to be the low. It just wherever you wanted to bring it from.
However you want to fit it, that's the way you would.
But what you would have him do is have him climb
up.
And now he's either got to get blocked, and that force. Now they're out of numbers. They don't have numbers because now they're blocking the guy they're trying to read. So now the read's gone. It's not a read. It's either get it out there. Yep.
The
other thing that's got to happen is he's got to scrape over, and I think he does pretty well. I think he's the one that ends up near the ball at the end of the line. Yeah, he tries to go over the top because 32 is not blocked. He should be coming right off that hip line. He's in a really good position. He stops him. Everybody's fine here. Everybody's fine here. Let's watch the corner real quick to see how fast. So he's bailing on snap, flips his hips over.
Comes down. He starts to come down.
It's a good call. It's a good call. I mean, it's a good call, honestly. It's going to get him into a 3rd and 6. We'll watch the all 22. It doesn't change much.
And I just saw something, and I did not notice this as many times I watched this. Kind of go back to the start a little bit of this one. I just saw interesting how – a little fancy. This guy, he's down low in the box or whatever.
He bails.
But then at the snap, he's gone. He bails.
So what it is you can tell it bails like he's going to be the middle thirds player because he triggers hard. Yeah, he's going to be the middle field player because the guy travels hard because he can't. I mean, he triggers hard because he can rotate. It's hard to tell without it being a pass exactly what it is. That is. Because if you look at the corner at the bottom, he's going to take an outside jab step and keep his outside thing. And you never know if that's just him trying to show him something different with a quick trigger jam, or if he has like a cover 2 and he's over the top. Let me stop it real quick. It could be that he's over the top and that's how they're playing the cover 3. That's just a different way to rotate.
Gotcha. I was just looking. I was like, man, he's shot back there quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So what? That was
but he didn't show up with much when he got there. He kind of just bounced off it. Not a big. Not. It's a good play call, and they got him fitted up really well.
So to me that's an interesting second and 10 call after
I think it's a great one. Just so anybody want to know, it was power read pitch. They're reading that guy. If number 2 comes screaming up, it's another way to run power read without having the back opposite of the strength or wherever you want to read it, run it.
So now you got 8 yards after that. It's now third. It's 3rd and 2. But again, and I don't think it showed it. Clemson is still going.
Yeah, they're still in it. But if you'll notice,
still in the 11 personnel. But now he's in the tight end, and I'm going to kind of put it in my language a little bit. He's in what I would call opposite formation or a queen formation, and the only thing that it means is that sniffer guy is away from the 2 receiver side. So we have twins left, but the sniffer is to the right.
So we would call this 20. We would call this 20 Twix plus. So Twix tells us that the X and Twix tells us that the sniffer is opposite the back, and plus tells us the back's plus. So we're expecting, 2 real, and then we don't get it, but it would be a game plan thing. If all things are equal, we're expecting 1 of 2 things, either a counter action coming back with the guard,
or some kind of split,
or power, or split. You're absolutely right. The thing is you have to treat this. This is somehow they're still in the same personnel, but you cannot treat this like it's 11 personnel. You have to treat this like it's back.
It's 11 personnell, but it's not 11 personnel because
now not 11 personnel at all for defense.
He's not on the line. He's actually in the backfield, which technically turns it, into.
And he's deep in the backfield, which means at any point he could come across and create that third gap over there. Whereas if he was there, he can only create the third gap there, the third surface guy there.
But he can create. He's making the third gap now, but he can also come to the other side and turn it into a third gap.
Either way, so you have to treat it like it's 20 personnel. It's not the same type of defense. You can't treat it like it's 11 personnel. And that's
I'm gonna keep calling it 11 personnel.
Yeah, that's fine. And the thing is that's something that offenses should do more, and defenses have to be ready for, especially at the high school level when, like I said before, it's the 11 best players you have. Like you only, you put the best guys on the field. You got to figure out how to put them in places to win. I'll go quick over they're really simple. They're in 9 rat again. The overhangs in a man-to-man. He's man-to-man here. He's man-to-man here. He's man-to-man here. They're not going to hide how they're going to play very rarely. They're a cover 1 press man team most of the time, cover 3 as their change-up. Obviously, he's going to take this guy coming out. He's the 4-to-1st crosser or whatever comes. He's going to take it. And those 2 guys are funneling the back. These 2 are funneling the back wherever the back goes. So the back went this way, he'd go and he'd become the sit. The back went that way, he'd go and he'd be the sit. He'd be the whole rat player.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Right. So I had to remember what play it was.
Yeah, and you'll notice that they'll always call it to the tight end. They'll set that 3 technique to the tight end. And they kept Chase Young in the weak side to the 3 tech to have a really good player and he still has force behind him so he can spill and have a really good player to where the point of contact, the point of attack is probably coming from.
I think next play, if I'm not mistaken, it's the next play where I'm going to talk about how putting the 3 technique to that and with Chase Young, how that kind of disturbs a lot of stuff in pass protection-wise, but we'll talk about it when, obviously when that comes.
It's like double rotating without double rotating in a way. All right, so we get the back, pushes out. So we go push motion, push, push. You got to screen push. Remember what I said. The rules are if he goes this way, he goes with him, right?
And I also love, if this was a passing play, me being an offensive line guy, it takes one guy out, so now I don't have to worry about if it was a pass play, but setting protection for that guy. So moving him just took him out. So now I went from a 7-man box, now I got 6.
And for the defense, the defensive side, it's no longer 20 personnel.
No,
it's 10 personnel. There's
one back in there. A receiver.
There's one back in there, but what they're about to do is get it back to 20 personnel in just a second, but technically it's 10 personnel. So now
this is the counter.
Yep, this is the counter. So the guard pulls. He's going to spill it inside, right? The sniffer that I talked about that can come across does exactly what we said he could do. He comes across. And all he's doing, all that's happening is he's visioning. And does this guy run with him? If he runs with him, like he does, like he's going to, because he has him man-to-man, it becomes quarterback counter, which puts him back into a quarterback run game. Quarterback run game, you're going to have the numbers unless the defense brings blitz coverage or the defense gets off the block. So you're always going to have numbers. It's risky because the quarterback can get hurt, obviously. But so they teach denting. 11 is going to dent. And all that means is they're going to stay square, and take the inside half of the block. They're going to try to take 2 for 1.
So me being an O-line guy, I'm going to find everything I can to talk about O-line on that one. And on this one, with the technique you just talked about, you play it just slowly a little bit. The 76 did a good job of, getting his eyes on him, doing everything we touched. But right here, pause it. He did a great job of, as I call a law ball, of getting his butt outside to make that flashlight hole for the sniffer and the quarterback. Because, normally, like you said, he wanted to take 2 guys with 1. He didn't allow number 11 to dictate to him what he's going to do, if that makes sense. So he went and pulled. He got his butt around. He made contact with him. But he forced his hips around. 76 forced his hips around to get him inside. And now if you actually look at it, you kind of have 2 guys on 1. And the 2 guys I'm talking about is this lineman coming up for number 32, but then now you have the sniffer come for him too. So now you have 2 guys.
Well, they have numbers.
Yeah, obviously because you have numbers, but now by this lineman, take him inside, take him out of the play. God, that is beautiful. If I can get somebody to do that every play, that is beautiful. Gets his hips inside, gets his butt turned.
Yeah, the thing is he's denting or spilling or taking the inside half of the block to nobody, unfortunately, because that guy's been pulled out. And that's one of the risks of running cover 1 and cover 9 and things of those natures, because if they can manipulate a force player and how they play them so tight, you have to go into what I call easy force. And easy force is you're in forcing it. But he doesn't force. He's not forcing it. They don't have numbers. The only way to get back numbers would be to bring blitz coverage. So for many people, they call it cover 0. No guys in the middle of the field. You're sitting 6 or something of that nature. You're green dogging as many people as you can. But they're not doing that here, obviously. So as we go, he dents like he's probably taught to, expecting him to guy. And he does get a scrape over by this guy. The problem is he is also going to spill it like he's taught to do. And all this is great, and it's right. It's not wrong. It's not wrong at all. But because of the nature of the coverage concept, it leaves the guy that's got to end up spilling it, and they do a great job making him run this way, or he's going to end up running about like that. It's just not enough time to stop the first down. The first down's going to happen. They have a great athletic quarterback. He gets outside. 53 makes a wonderful play running, and a great stick tackle by number 4 coming down. Everything's beautiful. It's ran perfectly, and the thing about it is
ran and blocked perfect. Everything to me,
both sides are right. And the thing about it is if it was 1st and 10, you'd be fine because they only gained 4 yards. It's not a quick play.
It's just 32.
Yeah. The D tackle, 53 at the top, is going to try to cross face on the center pulling. I love the center pulling. That's so interesting to me. Boom, boom, boom. He gets pushed off a little bit, but he doesn't get pushed to the lap. Guy can scrape over, and he runs flat down the line. Let me get rid of that.
And then another point that I do want to make is 3rd and 2, second quarter, and the third play of the drive again. Number 2 is not in the play.
Yeah, they're making
number
sure
2
he has nothing to do with it.
Is over there.
That's the thing where I said about taking the answers away. So there's 4 answers, and one of those answers is to run weak. But if you put 2 there, and they're not going to run there, you've limited it down to a couple answers. And I think that's one of the other things that I should have added, and that was on me for not even saying. When you asked me what kind of things I expect when this wide out, this is one of them: push motion. Back placement is so incredibly important to playing defense, is understanding what they're trying to do. That offenses will tell you what you're getting off their back placement because they think defenses are so stupid that they don't realize that this guy's in a different spot and this guy's in a different spot. And, than he usually is, he's probably going to get something that's not usual. Everybody feels right. Everybody's good. You know, there's not much you can do. It's good blocking on the end. They run him out, and then 3 hooks up to him. That's what happens when you don't play with the overhang that can vision the quarterback. You're visioning the man.
Yeah, especially, them playing, man-to-man coverage. The receiver pretty much runs, kind of runs number 3 off a little bit, gets him out to play. Number 24, number 20. The only problem I have, and this is just my thing with receivers, is number 3. It's it's a run play, all right? And you can see he runs him off, then he stops and looks back. Well, what are you looking at? Just keep taking that guy to the field.
Yep.
You stop and look back, that's a little knick-knack for to have a receiver. All right, here we go. Next play. What were y'all? Play number 4. And again, Clemson is going tempo. We just threw it out. I like that.
So, you're right. They are going tempo again.
They're going tempo. But then, and I'm going to say it this way, they're still in 11 personnel, but as you say, it's not 11 personnel, but they're still in 11 personnel. If you want to be technical, but now the sniffer has went to the same side as the Twins, so I'm gonna call that King because he's on the same side. And then not only that, or King, I'm sorry, not King. I'm gonna call it Same because he's on the same side as the Twins. But also, what they did with the Twin receivers is now they stacked them. They stacked them on top of each other. Not really, but he's stacked on top. Not only that, I love this motion a lot. So much that they took the stat guy who's behind and ran an orbit motion. If you don't know what orbit motion is, I call it orbit motion where you go behind the quarterback. All right, jet motion is in front, orbit where he goes behind. I love that. They took him and ran the jet motion off of it. So now it forced. It forced. I can't see his number.
Which one?
Up top. All right there, yeah. So he sees motion and it forced him. So now he has to run with the guy in the motion. So you just took another guy out the box.
Yep.
Another guy, out of your pass read. You just took him away.
Yep.
I love that.
And it identified probably what coverage they're going to get.
What coverage they're in.
So
you're going to talk about that and I'm get back to that.
So for us, for the defensive side of the ball, I don't know about you, but something looked funky here. This looks real funky. They're FIB. Their formation in the boundary.
Can I guess?
All right.
I guess. I may be right.
The sniffer back here is nearly in a something different's coming. Now, I'm screaming to my guys, shot. This is what I'm screaming to. I'm screaming shot or trick play. Something interesting's coming at you.
Oh, shot play. Okay.
Yeah, shot. Like taking a big shot. Or something interesting's coming your way. And what they also did is you'll notice they took what was the boundary safety and the overhang, and they're on the same side.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how I'm going to be a little different, but I think that if you do things like this as a defense, you have to know what you're going to expect. All right, Clemson sees this, and Clemson probably needs to bring something to the field side. But here's what Ohio State's banking on, and I think why they did it, is because number 2's right there is their force. He's using easy force. Mm-hmm. He's their force player. If you notice, he's kind of wide. So he's probably
– as O lineman, I hate that so much. I ain't going to lie to you. I hate it.
He's probably a force player, most likely. And that's why they probably feel like they can take the boundary safety and number him. He's married. He's basically becomes married up. He travels with him, what we call travel. He's going to travel.
But then also, I want to make I'm going to sound like a defensive guy for a second. So in the last 3 plays, because it's first down again, the back was in an offset position. 2 and 2, whatever. Now
he's flatter.
He's much flatter. He's still offset, and I kind of offset anything that you're behind the quarterback, but not.
Got that right here.
Too.
So, and this may not happen on this drive, but as we go along, if I have a defensive end at his caliber, and for some reason they're coming up flat, and they're going to chip him. What they're going to do here. And you got to start telling your guys to expect that to come. We'll do different things to defend that chip. I had to do that past year with one of my guys who's a really good football player. So they rotate, and they do an interesting rotation. that you actually called me about before we did this want to know. So he's going to fit inside. He's still 4-1. What happens here? Count the guys. So they're still in 11 personnel, and somehow they've gotten to 30. You have to treat this like it's 30 personnel.
Because he
can come across, he can come fast. They all three can come this way. They can motor it back. You've seen the triple option teams do that. You have to know what you're seeing, obviously, what you're defending in a week before you say that. But that is everybody other than the two guys on the line of scrimmage are in your backfield. All right, so you have to treat it a certain way.
That's interesting.
You have to treat it a certain way. So what you're going to get here is he's that 4-to-1st crosser, and what it becomes is like a 6 buzz, because now he is going to be the 3-up or the weak hook player. He's going to be the strong flat. He's going to be the middle hook, and you can't see him out here, but he's playing middle of the field principal. And these two guys, they both going to bail thirds. As you can see, 3 already start to bail on it. Okay. So we're going to run it real quick, and then we'll talk. 39 goes with him. 16's athlete continues to play, and
this is that one. Gotcha. I don't remember which one it was. For some reason, I didn't have to play number down.
See how
just real quick, and tell me if I'm right or wrong about this. Because you have such a caliber in number 2, and they're trying to run a play action fake. We see it. Is the reason that the back went so fast is to help out number 2?
I would think so.
Because
I would think that's being smart football by 9 by ETN. I think
of knowing, and when me and you were watching the game, we talked about it for a second. The tackles actually, honestly, did a pretty good job of handling it.
Yeah, all right, but it seems like they gave him a lot more help than we remember, watching the game.
Yeah, because at one point we did mention it wasn't that much help, but they're bringing he is helping a lot, and
he gets a chip on the other side. They're going deep. Remember what I said? This is funky. Expect a shot. Expect a trick. Expect something, right? And both these guys.
It's also a great thing that ETN did help him out. That on our perspective, because if you look at the way 73 is positioned,
he got to beat.
Man, he is dead in the water. ETN did a great job.
He got to beat.
He did a great job helping.
That's a great football play, because not only does he do that, he continues it. They have no force. They have no force to contain players. So Lawrence keeps his eyes downfield, moves, drops his eyes down to 9. 9 catches that ball after and makes has a little bit of run. Let's go to the 22.
Yeah, let's go to that one because this is the one where it's like a 2-man route, 3-man route. I think.
2-man route. So we'll follow the first one first. So he's bailing. He's staying on that outside hip. He's going to get him in his pocket. I love how the top guy doesn't look back, doesn't give it up.
He doesn't freak out. Yeah.
Yeah, he tops him really well. Turns into a comeback that was open, but he just that's a
tough one.
Yeah, that's a long way in the down. You probably don't throw that a whole lot. Same thing on the bottom side. He stems out. He's just going. He's going to run it out to his bail thirds and keep it. He'd probably he'd be prone to a comeback as well if they want to throw it. But then we're going to go.
I don't know if this is great coaching or just great playing at going as you're playing. But number 3, the motion guy, the receiver who did open motion, did a great job of holding. I had his number. I don't know his number, but great job of holding. I think that's number 36.
39.
Of just him running the flat and just kind of just sitting there. He's not expecting the ball, but he did a great job of just holding him. The 2-man route that we talked about before, it forced the deep third player to bail, so he's not covering anybody. And ETN just did a heck of a job of chipping, seeing the quarterback rolling, and 18 being the athlete that he is.
The free safety. I want to say another thing, and I'll mention it a couple times. Watch the quarterback indicator. He points down.
He starts
goes off the quarterback, or goes off the center. The center snaps whenever he wants to. It's type of a silent-ish count. Free safety's visioning him, 3, 4, 5, 6, and he's going to turn because he's still there. He's all over it. I think they got that covered really well.
And if it wasn't for, if 16 is if that's not Trevor Lawrence and that's I can't think of a stand in the pocket type guy, this play doesn't happen. That's a sack. That is a covered sack.
Yeah, most likely.
Him being able to move outside the pocket.
One of the most
that throw.
One of the more interesting things, and I don't know the answer to it because of I've never been in Ohio State's facility as a coach or anything like that. 32 is going to do what we call roboting. So 32 is right here. And roboting is rolling over, taking your back from the quarterback, and trying to find a dig or a crosser coming back to get under it, under the bottom hip to help defend it, to create layers in your defense. That's what it's for. And he does it here. And usually you do it when you get a shallow crosser. You get a shallow crosser and you roll over because this guy can take it.
You know something that's coming over
roll
top.
And something's coming back. So in a way, I don't think he's wrong.
No.
I don't think he's wrong, but it gives a lot of space.
But it also, man, I don't know if I mentioned. I did write it down. The sniffer. Like I said, I don't know if it's good coaching or him, and the coaching, or if it's him making a play, chipping. Okay, that's the play design. Him chipping, and then going, and it forced that backside linebacker. Now he can't run with ETN because he has to stay with the sniffer, who is coming, check and release, and however you want to call it.
Yep.
Out of the backfield or whatever.
You're absolutely right. We're gonna go.
I thought that was great. Here we go. What's this? Play number 5.
Yeah, play number 5. We are on the 50-yard line. It's 1st and 10.
But once again, Clemson got the first down, and they line right back up, tempo. If I'm not mistaken, they're still in 11, and the same tight end sniffer. 10.
You gotta treat it like it's 10. You have to treat it like you're not gonna get.
You gotta treat it like it's 10, right? But I'm gonna from an offensive sideline, I'm gonna say 10. I mean 11 personnel. So 11
doubles. But
yeah, but then now, so if correct me if I'm wrong, he went from being a sniffer to tight end to now slot receiver.
Yep.
So now the slot guy.
All
in one drive, all in 4 plays.
Versatility is incredibly important.
Yeah,
and I think it relates. I've said it before. I think it relates to high school because you play the best players that you got.
Right.
You got to teach them to go to different spots. All right, so they come out in doubles for the first time.
True, and I even put a true doubles.
Yeah, at the bottom, the slot receiver is pretty split out wide. He's a little bit further than apex between the two of them, and this is the first time that Ohio State shows too high. When they finally get a true 10 personnel doubles set. Okay, they're going to go.
And also look at the back. He is backing his.
Yeah, so
we can call it base as offset.
We'll get right before the snap because this one has the interesting thing to it. So now you get the motion in the back. You're absolutely right. It's 2 yards off, 2 yards. They haven't ran inside zone yet.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? So
when they actually handed it off.
Yeah, they keep getting that back. No, they haven't ran it yet. They keep getting that back out there. You're expecting that different things to come to that. All right, so the 2 high safeties up here. He's probably still he's still your weak side player if he's got to be. He's your weak side force player if you get that. So he motions in, and now it's no longer 10 personnel. As soon as that happens, no longer 10 personnel. What's that, Coach? What do we call that?
It's good old-fashioned, I will call it. That's good old-fashioned king formation, baby.
Yeah, we call it, doesn't matter, 20 personnel.
20.
No longer 10, it's 20.
He's back in the backfield.
Because this joker can go here. He can back up and pass protect if he'd like. He can go to the flat. He's mobile now. He's not stuck over here, and he's not a receiver over here running around. So we're going to treat it like it's 20, and we're going to expect the plays that they give us in 20. What plays do they run in 20? All right. If you'll see before the snap, you get something a little bit different. This is the first time since they're in doubles and they got too high that the overhang, the star player, isn't completely covered down, head up, playing man coverage on the guy. All right. So he's going to actually stem like he's coming off the edge or bringing something. This guy comes. You get 3 bailing. You notice how he didn't move to the indicator. Watch 3's movement. 3 doesn't move until he gets to see that indicator. As soon as he gets that indicator, he moves. And that's something that you got to coach your guys in this day, because you can't line up and tell Trevor Lawrence you can't tell high school quarterbacks what you're going to do, because you're doing the same thing every play. They're going to get you. All right. So you see this guy come screaming down. He's actually going to rotate into the middle. So they showed too high, but they're still playing.
They're
still playing cover 3.
Yeah.
What I actually call cover 6, because it's a weak side rotation. Hey, it's a middle of the field closed coverage. Him coming down, right? What do you think Chase Young gets to be?
He gets to go.
Yeah, he's a skill player. He doesn't have to force it. So he has a guy coming behind him. What happens here? This guy comes across. Like I told you, he would come across because it's 20 personnel. He's going to spill the inside of it. He's got the inside half of the block. Who's got the outside half of the block?
You got whoever the safety. I can't see his number, but whoever it is that wrote down.
Got a really athletic run, and all that happens here. And you can talk through all the other stuff here. Really good play by the front. Everybody's good. 53 is good. He's always in the gap. He's in the gap. He's going to fill in the gap. Everybody's good. The only thing that happens that causes any kind of yards ran is he doesn't stay square, and it's a little bit easier when they show it here on the vision side of it. So they finally run the zone read.
But once again, Clemson is now trying to isolate.
They're not
number 2, trying to make number 2 be the conflict.
You can't block.
What are you going to do?
You can't block him. Read him, and he almost makes a play. If this guy, he kind of stutters right here. If you'll notice.
Yeah, he did. Because he's like, okay, I'm not going to block him. I got to get around him.
Yeah. If he, it's just a really good athlete by the quarterback making a play, and it ends up wrapping in too. Yeah, we'll show it from the backside. It's much easier to see from the backside.
And I do have a question, and I'm gonna tell you when to pause it. Hopefully, I can get it. Pause it now. All right, I want to ask you this question. All right, it's kind of blurry a little bit, but we know they're running the split zone read option, not blocking number 2. Where is his eyes at right now for number 2? What is he looking at?
He's looking at 25.
So his eyes is on 25.
Don't look like he's looking at the ball, does it? He's looking at 25. He's coming to steal him, and then his eyes come out. He knows his job, because if this guy would have handed it off, he's there. He's in the hit.
He's right. He has that.
So we'll go back and show it. See if we can get – see, I don't want him to put hands and turn that shoulder, because what happens is when you're the force player, you got to stay square. The second you turn your numbers to a player, because he closes the shoulder. Mm-hmm. If he'd have done what we talked about earlier with 24 and struck him, keeping that outside shoulder free and his chest square, numbers facing the end zone camera, facing the end zone, he'd have been just fine coming off with it.
Because honestly, I'm going to say this as a – what do you want to put it as? Honestly, 20 actually ended up blocking, Chase Young.
Yeah,
he helped offensive out because of the way he played it, because if not, Chase Young's obviously –
because he gave up his outside arm. He turned it and closed his shoulder. If he goes through and strikes out, he's going to have to turn back to Chase Young, and he's going to get murdered. Good play by 32. You'll see 32 come flat. We can run it back all the way back here. The top side backer, he's going to see it. He's tempo in the back, tempo the back. Back ain't got it. I'm going to go flat down the line. I'm not going to go this way. I'm going to go that way, because that's where the ball is going to be. And I'm going to end up good shot, get off by 1 by the corner down there. He's a really good player in his own right. And it turns out 4 yards.
That's also, once again, a great run by 16, turning a –
Oh, yeah. And when you add quarterback run helps equalize. Quarterback run is a great equalizer. And that quarterback can run. All right. So we can watch the all 22. Nothing really changed for the all 22 here.
Oh, this is the same. This is the same one, yeah. Not
change down, he goes and expands at the end.
And I did write that. I made a little bubble note. The bubble took 24's attention off of whatever was going on over there. He wasn't going to get into play at all, but it took his eyes.
That's his job. He needs to be outside number 2. and he's
extra
leveraging too.
So that was a 5-yard game.
Yep. So this is the first play that they sub. But they don't actually.
I don't know if you noticed, Ohio State.
No, they did not sub.
Did sub, which was kind of surprising, but I guess
Ohio State goes fast in practice. They're probably used to it.
So they're probably used to it.
We had a podcast about that where I felt like super speed isn't the plan. The plan is to take 11 guys and line up 11 ways. Like they line up. I mean, this is mixed between 20 and 11 as you can get. I'm going to call it 20 just because I still think this guy can get across. All right.
Which he can.
He can. They bring in a new back. They bring in a new Y or whatever.
I'm still going to call 11 personnel, baby, because they're back in 11 personnel. I still consider him to be a tight end, sniffer, whatever you want to call him.
All right, so Free seems to be their motion man, so you know that coming into the game. All right.
And now, again, they do a orbit, once you get an orbit motion, he goes behind the quarterback.
What type of formation?
As you just said, it's 3 guys.
It's 30 personnel. Yep. You got to play option principles.
But I think it was an incomplete pass, but I love how they took the orbit motion because last time they ran the orbit motion, did the play action off of it. They took the same motion. So when you play it, they took the same motion, and now they're trying to set up a slip screen behind it. It wasn't a play fake with it, but they took the same motion where everything looked the same. The lineman, the front side is, all going down to the right. But then they're trying to slip 23 out the backfield. But God, what a great play by 24.
24 is tempo in the back, because if you think about it, where was his eyes before? They were here because they're in a cover one type of look.
Yeah, right now he's looking at number 2.
Yep. He's looking at 2. He sees 3 go inside. So now number 1's there. He doesn't relate to number 1. He's going to relate to the first guy that comes out this way. That's his job.
And now he became number 2. Him coming back over, he turned into number 20.
He tempoed the back. He just tempoed the back as well as he could.
And this is, from when me and you coached together, we used to have screen periods. I swear, every time I see a screen, I think about you telling your lineman to, if you're not blocked, stop.
And they look at it. They're in the middle of a screen, and how far up is Clemson? Or how far up is Ohio State? Not a single
54 is not being blocked. He stops.
Yeah, not a single one of them is past the line of scrimmage.
That's great.
No, it's great defense. It wasn't the greatest plan by Clemson, knowing what kind of coverage you're going to get. That they would be looking at the back. They would be looking at different things. Maybe they thought that they would try to try to get aggressive or something like that. Because if he throws the ball to the screen down here, number 2 is going to kill him. Right? Number 2 never gets blocked.
Where is he? Oh, there he is. Okay. So I couldn't see.
He's got leverage. He's underneath. He's over the top. He's under for him. If they threw it to 3, which they're not going to. They're not trying to. They're just trying to move the eyes with the orbit motion. Mm-hmm. He's going to be outside. He's coming up finally. He's tempoed on the screen. He's probably supposed to be blocking this guy.
Okay, so I thought about that.
Or this guy.
Also, there's a rule with screens that I use a lot is
if they go upfield,
you don't block blitzers. If they come, let them come.
Yep.
Let them, invite them in. But that's why I say it was great. Great by 24 is, by knowing the rule of screens and not blocking the guy, he comes upfield, let him go. But 24
trusted what he got taught, so he had a great one. What I love, another one's 54, matching the hand, what we call matching the hand. So he's trying to get a tip.
Mm-hmm.
He can see that the ball's probably going to come up. He's ready to tip it. Doesn't get it, obviously. Ball throws it away. And
that's just a good defense, but also, good job by 16 knowing there's nothing there.
The other thing that could be noted that isn't shown is they start too high, and they use it to drop down the free safety into the middle of the field, what was, becomes the number 2 player. Or actually, I think he's the relate to 3. I just think this guy did such a good job of understanding what was coming.
He was able to.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to see, but whenever we get back to it, but the number 1 guy looked like he's trying to go and block that safety that rolled down. It's just he didn't really have a chance to.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
If that makes sense. But yeah, so we're on play 7. There it is, play number 7. So this is I really want to hear you talk about this one. This was me just looking at the defense, what the defense did. I just like perfection. They went to. I'm still calling 11 personnel.
Here's the first thing I want to talk about. This is 10 personnel.
No. Mm-mm. You got to look at who number 2.
Yeah, we're playing 10 personnel. He can't block. He can't create 3-man surface.
You're playing that, so that's just my personnel group, and he's a tight end, so I'm counting.
Yeah, he's a tight end, no doubt. I'm
counting him,
but
as 11. So
the first thing we're going to coach the defense on. The snap doesn't even happen. I want you to watch Lawrence. Does he do anything different? Let's cut it back so you can actually see it.
If I'm right, I think he changed his indicators.
Has he clapped at all? Has he clapped
that's
ever?
The first time.
Has he never clapped? You know what the clap got him to do? It showed him the blitz. It showed him what he was getting. Did it not?
Oh, yeah, because as soon as he clapped, 24 is coming.
They start rotating. 24 comes off the edge, ready to come. So that's why I teach quarterback indicators. That's not his indicator. And it may be, but in the little bit that we just watched, he's only put his hand down to let the center do it. And the other thing about the indicator is he claps. Look at the center.
His head is still down.
His head never moves. He probably ain't gonna snap it. He probably ain't gonna snap it. His head ain't moving. All right, Chase Young, stand up here. You're getting a 5-0 front, what I call 5-0 front. So they've taken the mic and pushed him. He's not actually a mic anymore. He's like an athletic guy. He's a dime or whatever you want to call him, whatever you want to – I don't really care, whatever you want to call him. They've sub-packaged, right? So the fake gets him, but they have a guy – they have the mic or the wheel, whatever you want to call him. Again, I don't really care. Some people call him the mic because he's on the backside. He's head up on him. They have 2 threes. They have a stand-up in 9 technique, stand-up 7, 9 technique, whatever you want to call it. But what this forces is man block. They have to man block you, all right? They have to man block you.
And then also, I think it happens during the play, but Clemson, it's crazy how much one guy can cause so much. You to respect so much.
Yep.
You just said, and you're right. They were in
two becomes everything.
Protection, but the back actually, he sees the blitz coming. He sees the guy.
He chips Chase Young.
Yes, so he sees the blitz. He sees all that good stuff, but he knows Trevor may be able to get the ball out quick enough. I got to help with number 2. It's just crazy, how much they respect, and you got to, how much of a player he is that watch the back. He looks over, he sees him, he sees him coming.
So on the snap, you notice how, because this is just a tad bit, the backer didn't bail or didn't give up his bluff because the center wasn't looking up. He knew he wasn't going to snap it. He was paying attention. So they show it. They snap the ball. And you're absolutely right about Chase Young. I mean, when you have a get-off like that, it helps. 9's looking at Chase Young to chip, right? So look right now, how many guys is blocking on your offensive line?
Oh, no. You have 1,
3.
You have the tackle. You have 3 guys blocking. And the center is kind of just in no man's lane.
3 on
that's 5. A great job. That's a great job by Ohio State is First thing I noticed is that they brought the blitz to the scrim. They brought the blitz away from the running back, knowing that he couldn't get over there and help.
They designed a really great blitz here because
normally if you got the back over there, he can pick them up.
They've wasted blockers. There's 2 guys here, and technically there's 4 guys that are blocking one dude.
One guy.
So they're wasting blockers. And what they do the other way is because they're sliding that way, these 2 guys are in one-on-ones. So he's got to push with this guy going vertical, and he's got to be in a one-on-one situation.
Which allows man Wade just to –
he comes screaming off the edge of what I call suns because the star is under.
At a perfect timing. Also at a perfect timing where the center and the guard is looking to help.
And the other thing that helped them is the vision of the quarterback. So the quarterback starts visioning this way to start, and then he moves.
And then he looks to the one side, then it comes back.
Yep. You'll notice that they'll drop the safety down. He's in a bail thirds. He's coming off. He's dropping.
He rotates back over.
He's rotating. He's in a bail thirds.
And if I'm from what Clemson ran, they ran a hitch by one. Number 2 ran a dig, and 3 ran a corner.
Yeah,
from what it looked.
Y corner in a way. I would call it Y corner.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because they were trying to get the ball to the corner, but
the way he looked, it looked like he was going to take the one-on-one opportunity there. But absolutely, you're right. The corner is going to be open.
What did it? And I think it's on the next shot. You can see what the safety did.
We'll show the alternate here. The corner route by 3 is going to be open.
Did the safety rotate over? Did the safety rotate over too?
That's what happens when you can manipulate the protection.
Oh, he slipped.
Honestly, the hitch route's probably the only thing open.
The only I don't know if that's open enough because he jumps the corner.
It'll get you the first down, but he's not looking there, so it doesn't really matter.
Right. But like you say, he's trying to take the one-on-one shot by number 1 up top, but when he slipped, I guess it really just completely threw him off.
And he was getting hit as he slipped too. He had a guy under it. It was going to be a tight throw.
No, that's a tough tight window to throw the ball. Tough tight window. But then
they get the targeting call.
Yeah, I do have a question. If you go back to, what in your opinion, you being a defense guy, is that targeting you?
Does my opinion
first
count?
Off,
Does my opinion count on it?
Not really, but we're talking about it, so.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, he drops his head, 16 drops to protect himself, and it puts him in the same level. I mean, he hits him hard. Boom. He hits him hard. I don't know.
So this is, in my opinion, this is where things get funky. This is where it gets interesting. Very, very interesting.
No doubt.
We don't play 8 of the drive. An 8-play drive. They just got a first down. You may call it a cheap first down or whatever, how you want to call it, but they got the first down. Move the change down, so we don't play 8, which slowed the game down. So now in comes my man number 7. All right, so now they're in a. I'm still going to call it that, so I know what you're going to say, but then 11 personnel, bunch left, offset gun. The back is to the left side. He's to the bunch. And this is just me thinking backup quarterback in. You don't really know what's going on with your starter. Play caller just said, give the ball. I don't care what you get. Hand the ball off. Give the ball to number 9.
Yeah, he looks locked. He looks locked where he can't.
Because in all honesty, if you play it, the quarterback has, in my opinion, you tell me, the quarterback has the numbers to pull it. He has it to pull it. Right?
Yeah.
Back it up just.
Yes, because the guy that came in for the guy that just got ejected for the game got bullied.
Mm-hmm.
If he's in the right position, he doesn't. Here were my notes for it. My notes said, all right, first play after a big official review change, what do they do when something big happens? Now, and then I wrote, well, okay, now you have actually a backup quarterback in. Okay, so some of that goes away as soon as I wrote that note. The backup quarterback has the same indicator. They're in tight bunch, obviously, but the Y is tight.
He's tighter now, yeah.
Tight. He's been back here most of the time. So you're probably going to get split zone or some kind of zone read, something in that, and they want to be safe. The other thing, if they go back to this formation when Lawrence comes back in, it's interesting how tight 8 is. I think 8's there as well to help out, so that they get numbers to the front side. That was a full few things I had. I didn't have much on this.
Yeah, it really wasn't too much. Just
they're running force again, which is in force. The end's forcing. I don't know if it's a great job of doing it, but he's doing it. And what happens is who makes the big play? I think it's one of the backers, one of the D linemen. They have a different D lineman. I think he plays his first play, and he just gets enough vertical push that ETN trips.
Yeah.
It might have gone in for a little bit because if he doesn't trip,
he actually Everybody knows that blocked up, but Chase may get.
Chase isn't in a position to really make that play, so he probably would have spilled it, rolled it off the table for a couple this way. All right, that's all I got for that one.
Yeah. All right, so in comes number 18. Do you remember when we were watching the game? You remember what I told you? Right when he walked in, you remember what I said?
They're going to take a shot.
Touchdown. Take a shot, you're going to throw a touchdown.
All right.
Man, that was close.
I'll go first real quick for this. All right, so I call this trio. Mm-hmm. This is an 11 personnel trio because you have trips and the Y is opposite, hence the O in trio. Here's the next. We're going to add more to it, the trio. So you have trio. That's the formation. Now we're going to go what I call dose. And this is probably the best coaching point I'm going to give you all day. We call it dose. All right. Dose is telling you who is on the line of scrimmage. All right. So if number 1 was on the line of scrimmage, it'd be uno. Number 2 is on the line of scrimmage, it's dos. If 3 was on the line of scrimmage, it's trace. Why is that important? If you'll notice, and you go watch, whoever is the up guy, whoever's on the line, is typically one of 2 things. He's either the primary and he's going the deep. He's taking it deep.
He can get there quicker.
Tempo. Okay. He's not the tempo guy. He's the going deep. He's the guy they're looking for to go deep. And that's the little tells you need to give your DBs. They already got enough tough jobs. They have one of the hardest jobs in any sport, covering receivers. So if you give them those little things, it'll help them. The other thing is they're going to bring the corner over versus trio. Okay, so this guy usually plays over here is coming over. And they're going to have this player to have the force, and he's going to be manned up on the backside guy. You're going to get cover 1. Mm-hmm. And the last part of it is the plus. All right, so that probably means you're either going to get that they went to cover 1, and in my opinion, to help defend any kind of RPO this way. So it takes out that conflict with him, because if he was to come here for some reason, they would have no conflict at all. Not that I would RPO this team a whole lot, but when you have plus to a trip set, you have to start thinking how to defend the RPO. That's what you're going to get, okay? So they're going to take a shot, just like you said.
Good old-fashioned slot fade here.
Slot fade. So back in the day, it used to be post, corner, and then a hitch, right? So nowadays, it's the slot fade. Notice how it goes to the same spot, and he's pretty much wanting a win inside route. It's a post. It's a win.
He's trying to get that safety's attention so he can't.
So if it was a split field, I think there's a much better shot he could get the ball if it was split field. Obviously, it's not. It's a one high front. The safety's back there at about – the safety's at 15 yards. That's what I got in my notes. If you'll notice, he's actually head up.
So, and I do want to ask you this question. You may have to do it from the next one. Okay. From the All-22 one. Is this a 4-over-3 type look?
For the trip side?
Yeah.
No, they're going 3-over-3. Well, the way you're saying it, yes. Because he's in the middle of the field, it would end up being 4. That's why I said you have to defend the RPO. Especially, you go 1 second into this play, look what's happening. That could very well be an RPO because of how the back's moving, where the quarterback's looking.
Eyes and all the other good stuff.
You have to experience. You have to defend that. So he gets to pull. The backers are some of the hardest fitters on pulls I've seen. Like they're coming downfield. All right. And you get a deep ball that ends up in a penalty.
Yep.
We'll talk through let's go through the 22 first.
So that's why I was saying a 4-over-3 because he is in the middle of the field. But if the back's on the opposite side, does that change the thing where that safety lines up at?
Not in the middle of the field, probably not. It would for me if I was in a two-eye structure. It would change it. Well, it wouldn't change the safety. It would change the linebacker. The linebacker could play heavier. Over. Yeah, he could play heavier because he's probably not going to get an RPO. He doesn't have to hang. That's a conversation for another day, though. So the free safety is going to backpedal. He's actually shuffling, tempoing what's coming, still looking at quarterback's intentions. Quarterback is only throwing there. So he's going to get over top and play pretty well. I felt like until the last second that we're going to see that the overhang, that this is the new overhang, so the other one's been kicked out of the game, did a fantastic job. He's in the right spot. He's got his shoulders in the right spot. He's in his hip. He's playing it really well. And at the end, I think he pulls a little bit, but they're fighting back.
I think if you go back to the
yeah, we will in a second.
Yeah, I think you see it. So that pretty much answers my next question. Did you think that was a –
Yeah, the number 3 is strange on this one. This is the only one that's strange.
Yeah. Like, where is he? Like, why are you –
He kept
going –
like, for me, I'm talking about the corner over here.
Oh, the corner. Okay, I'm talking about the offense. Okay.
8 yards, he's let him eat up 4 yards of his cushion, and he hasn't moved. He's playing catch man. It's really weird. He gets beat. To be honest, if they can hold it and 3 thinks
go back inside
because of how the free safety read his intentions, it would be open.
And he
good protection.
Yeah, he had a protection on it, dude.
He's got a back pedal to help his guy out. He's got to be in a pedal to help him out. So we're gonna watch the thing. I hate going over reviews and penalties and crap, but I think this is a good view to show the whole play. He's in phase. He's on top. Good hand, good fight, and everybody. He uses the hand to tempo him, so it's going to slow down the receiver a little bit, and then he pulls. And he pulls because number 8 pushes off, but it's one of those. I don't. Yeah, he did. I think he did a good job of, and he's actually wrong where he strikes at. Because he actually swipes too early, but I think he did a good job of timing the swipe in a way because that's probably where the ball should have been.
Yeah.
If you got anything, for it. That's a tough.
I mean, I don't.
He just can't pull him for that long. But if he wouldn't have pulled him, 8 pushes off of him completely. And it sucks because he's like, that's the guy that just came in and got. Like now he looks
that's what you're supposed to do. Take a shot on.
Yeah, looks like they're exploiting him.
Take a shot at the new guy.
I felt like he played pretty well, honestly.
All right, so you get the pass interference call or whatever, and walk.
So now we're in the red zone. Offense has changed in the red zone.
So still in the same. My opinion, I know what you're going to say. Still in the same personnel grouping.
I haven't changed the personnel. The personnel has not changed.
I haven't changed it. No, the formation really hasn't changed either. And
personnel and orbit. That's about all they've done.
The great, from one of the guys I used to work for, Coach Sullivan, he would call that nasty, King Nasty. That just tells the running back to be on the same side as the sniffer. King Nasty. So he just that's the other thing with orbit motion. And it looks like with orbit motion they're trying to run running the inside zone, maybe with a triple option if he was able to pull it.
Looks like pin and pull to me.
Huh?
Like pin and pull to me.
Could be. Yeah. Go back to the start.
Looks like pin and pull because the guard's going to block down on the play side, the center's going to pull, and then the tackle's going to kick out the 3, and the tackle's going to pull. But 67 feels it, gets upfield, keeps his, rips up to the sky, picks 79. So now 79 can't tackle the overhang that's scraping over. Because if you see at the top, the first pull by the
first pull gets him, yeah.
Yeah, so he dents it. Chase Young dents it, just like we talked about. He's got that inside, so he's still a C-gap player. And now we have the overhang, scrapes over the top. He's in perfect position. Everybody's great. But he should be getting kicked out by 79. That's just
that is a hard block. Because if you look at – pause right there. If you look at where the nose is lined up on the center, he is literally –
he's tight. It's a 1 for sure. It's not 2.
Yeah, it's a 1, but I almost want to call him almost head up. He's not head up, but how tight he is, that is a hard block. That is a hard block.
I think 1 scraping over may have deterred any kind of RPO action. Also, they didn't really have numbers because the back.
Because they went man and he ran with him across the field.
The Mike backer's over. I like the communication. So 1's coming down and 4 thinks he's taking it. If you'll notice right here. 4 thinks he's taking it, and he's like,
he comes down.
It's a really good bit of communication. He stays in it, and he's right because it pretty much becomes the coverage they just seen, where the corner comes over and the tight end's there. Now the tight end's on the opposite side. He's gonna throw a good cut block. None of it mattered. I mean, 57 made the play. It's a simple, or 67, whatever number it is. He made the play.
That
in the hip.
That bit of penetration.
Yep, and he picks the blocker off, and then 39 fills beautifully, makes a great tackle on the trip. TN tries to flip it back up, try to get back upfield. Everybody's filling perfectly. 20's perfect at the bottom, takes a step towards, then he cuts half the side, flat. Everybody's good. One cuts in. Defense, definitely won this play. I think it's one of those things that you got to be ready for that RPO flat, and I think they're in a good position. I don't know if anybody knows what RPO flat is. I want to make sure it's that. Mm-hmm. He's on the outside. His inside foot's on his outside foot, so he has a good position on it if they were to run it. And he has numbers because they're taking this guy off. So, you're not going to get that, but just that's the things you have to think about defending when you get these type of looks. You got anything on that, Coach?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh no, I got something. And this is I am a failure of a defensive coach for not even noticing this. Line him up. This guy's on the line of scrimmage. We have to be able to identify that. He can't even go out for a pass.
Oh wow! I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, that's on me. I have it in my notes and didn't look down at my notes. This is one of the first things I noticed. That allows the orbit motion, because if not, obviously, he can't motion.
Yeah.
So you have to, and I think that's why the corner came over. That was a great communication. I think that's a big thing. You should go over it once a week in camp. Ineligible.
Who's eligible?
You should be screaming, that guy can't catch a ball, which to me probably means I change my leverage to him, but they're in one high, so they probably don't. And he covers him like he is, so he may not even have recognized that.
That was a good point.
Yep. I wrote it down here and then didn't.
Man, he's still same look, same everything.
Nope, nothing changes. Yep.
Nothing changes. The only difference is
they're going to give you an orbit. Or no, they give you a jet on this one.
They give a jet motion, a jet by the A guy, slot guy.
Yeah, one of the things you do need to notice that Chase Young goes to strength. I have no idea why. I would be lying to you if I knew why. I'd have to know what they're doing. 3 orbits over, so 10 has to go over top, so nobody else changes. He becomes the force defender over there if he goes all the way, which he does.
And
play action.
Play action. Look like they were trying to take a shot on number 3.
We'll go all 20.
Is it a corner?
He got him. It's just he's got him.
The problem is you got the guy sitting in the middle of the field.
It's picked. He's reading it perfectly. Yeah. He's stepping off 1, 2, 3 step off. Still look at the quarterback. Quarterback's actually visioning me. Now the quarterback makes a second look. I break. I go because he ain't gonna have much more time, as you can tell. Defense ends coming screaming off the edge. He's got him. Topside corners got him really well locked up. He's got him.
But then that's having a block Chase. That's a great job of him knowing.
And one of the things they do to help that helps them is they press. Mm-hmm. And you'll notice. Watch the bottom receiver. He's taken 3 steps and he's on the line of scrimmage. Look at where Chase Young's at. He's almost done with his pressure. He's almost finished his part of the play. Now he ends up getting beat because he opens the gate.
He overran him, and 7-9 did a good job of standing between him and the quarterback.
I'm talking about 3 down here at the bottom. He opens the gate up.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Chase. Gotcha.
He opens the gate up so he gets beat, and then he has to recover. The receiver goes in the blind spot. But what that does is add an extra second to the pass rush, and that allows Chase Young to get home. It allows the other guys to get home to cause disruptions, and then you can't throw it because now it's given enough time for the free safety to get over. Now Lawrence is an athlete.
He makes a play. He did a great job. I mean, there's literally nowhere you can go with the ball. The safety's in the middle of the field. They're trying to run like double posts or whatever, and it's nowhere. That ball can go nowhere. And this is God. I don't really know what you call this play. Defense wise, I'm just saying defense wise. I don't know if they're gassed, they're tired.
They are. When you get down here, if they want to have a team, if you go against a team that has quarterback run, you've got to get into blitz coverage at times. okay? And they don't do anything wrong particularly. So what you're going to get is the one technique is going to slant outside and the mic's going to come inside because they're thinking they're this guy's here. And now me personally, because I'm looking at the backs, where the back's placement, I'm thinking a pitch again. I'm thinking some kind of pitch, something wide. They're in true 11 personnel, which probably gives them the thought that they're probably coming downhill. So we're going to run a stunt that's going to give a free run. And the stunt, the blitz, works to perfection.
Gets there. It actually gets there.
It works to perfection. You're basically getting easy force again by number 2 again. And this is the issue with cover 1 for me, is he's going to run them off, and he's going to go with them, and there's no force player. All right. So before I go through it, do you have anything, Coach?
No. They're just a good old-fashioned 2x2, tight end attached.
All right. So you go in, they run the pause. So they get that look that they're talking about.
The inside zone.
And this is the thing that everybody's running at this level, and I'm certain we'll start seeing it at the high school level pretty quickly, is the pause speed option. They pause like they're running inside zone, and they're going to speed option. He isn't wrong at all.
He's in his hip. He's doing a good job there.
In's fine. He maybe took one step inside. It's a great –
and the stunt.
The stunt gets clear open because the tackle needs to step down on it. So the D tackle is actually the guy who forces – if you look at it right here, both of them come flying up and they get there. If it had been inside zone, they would have scored.
Oh, that play's dead.
I say that.
Kicking a field goal.
Yeah, I say that, and ETN makes a great play. Anyway, so there's no force player, as I talked about. We get right here, speed option. He got to pitch it. He's telling him to pitch it. He getting hit in the head telling him to pitch it. There's nobody out there for him. Who's the only guy that can get out there for him? Is that
the
guy.
Backer.
That's one of those things where you got to understand if you're going to get ran off. If I'm 4, especially near the goal line, I'm telling them to attack that outside shoulder.
Is it because you have help with the
yes, because you have no help. You have nobody to spill it to. He's spilling in a way. Every time you take the inside half of something, you're pushing it outside. If there's nobody to push it outside to, you shouldn't push it outside. You should push it back inside. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is he kind of tempoed the tackle and allowed them to play patty cake with the arms.
So there's nothing wrong with his angle on that one.
Other than the outside, I would probably outside hip. But that's hard. That's where cover 1's difficult because I can't say, okay, on this play you're going to be outside hip. On the next play you're going to be, you're a force player on this play, you're a skill player on this one. I love what 54 does on this play. Takes a great angle, and then he overruns it because he thinks that guy's going over the top. I don't think 39's bad, and that's the problem when you go against a guy that's really good. Now the tackling's not great there at the end. He should be tackled right, there.
Right there, right.
All of them overrun it. That's what happens when you don't have a force defender. No one knows who the force defender is. They probably all think they don't have a force defender. If 4 would have been the guy to overrun at the beginning, if he'd have overrun it, they probably would have made the tackle. I don't have –
you got 54 and everybody else who's coming in overrunning it also.
Yep. And I think that's one of those things you have to be cognizant of before the snap when 9 is that wide. Yet when he's that far out, to get this ball, you need to be cognizant of the fact that you're probably going to get, speed option or power pitch or something like that.
How long of and I didn't learn it, I should have, of 67, and what's that?
That
was about 75 yards, 75-yard drive.
Yep. And that's the last play. Obviously, scores a touchdown on it. You got any closing arguments, Coach?
No, man. That was actually pretty interesting. That was pretty fun. I like that. It was different.
All right, guys. This is going to be a long form one. If you're listening and not actually watching, I hope we did enough to
so you can visualize it yourself.
Visualize these things yourself to help you get better as a coach. We taught a lot of game planning. We taught a lot of technique. and what to expect and how to attack and defend the other side of the ball. So I'm Coach Kaysen.
Coach Stock, man. Y'all have a good one. I hope you can take something from it, guys.
Yep. We're excited to be back. Excited to be off season so we can talk some ball with you guys. Thank you.